At one point, I'm pretty sure there was originally meant to be another judge. Is there
Oh,
any
right.
information you guys want to share about that?
Britz, are we allowed to?
Sorry, I just realized my mic was off. Sorry. I guess I'll handle this question. I'm pretty sure like that person has talked about it before, but for the sake of their own privacy, I'm gonna say that at one point this person was going to be a judge, but things just didn't work out. Like some real life stuff got in the way, and they couldn't be a judge. And it did leave a gap. Like, okay, are we gonna? It left a big question of like if we were going to have a fifth judge, and I think we were far enough into development where we're like, nah, we don't have time. We'll probably stick with 4, and that helped with like solidifying the 4-season theme we were going for too. So it's like, well, we'll make something of this opportunity, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think it hurt us that we lost a judge.
Yeah,
it was unfortunate because I really liked the ideas that came from that judge, but
yeah, me too. I loved
okay.
their concept, but it was hard for me because I really loved their concept, but it wound up being the silver lining is that it made chop a lot shorter. We had one less round to worry about.
Yeah, because like I just sort of remembered because I think I remember hearing that originally it was going to be like a jungle theme or something. That was basically anything. That's the only thing I could really remember, and I just thought, oh, that could have been really really interesting.
That's correct. It was a jungle themed. I remember. I think the Guardian was like a lizard or a chameleon or a dragon puppet, like a marionette.
Oh wow.
And this was before we all like settled on like concrete animal designs. And it was a jungle, and I think there was a big like toxic or poison theme to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was never developed further than that, I think.
Yeah, it was a 2-part environment. It was like there was like an overground like forest canopy kind of thing, but then there was an underbush, which I think was the toxic environment.
Ooh. Oh wow. That sounds really really interesting. Okay, thank you very much for answering that question. We've only got a few questions left at this point, and this is kind of the bit where I'm interested to hear your guys's, I suppose, your advice. Like, so first of all, I'm gonna propose a little hypothetical. So let's say you all were given a time machine, and you're sent back with all of your knowledge to a past version of yourself who is just about to start the Chop to the Top OCT experience. What would you tell your past self as advice? Like, what do you kind of regret, and what would you want to improve and tell your past self to sort of help you out?
The first thing that I would do is I'd go back in time, not to right before we're about to start, but to July, right before we're about to start. And I say to myself, all right, tell Britz we got to get the ball rolling at the end of this month, not next month, so that it'll be perfectly lined up with fall, winter, spring, and summer. Because we were one season off, and it bugged me so much. But no, actually, I would go over, and I don't know. I feel pretty confident about what I had done. Maybe I would have been more community involved in the sense of like participating in chat more, because I mostly only did when I had like the time, or if I saw something that was directly pertaining to me. But I don't know. I came into the OCT with a pretty like Dan, you have to be very like on top of all this, because if you don't, everyone's gonna hate you.
No.
So maybe just like relax a bit. you're doing fine, and how you're handling it is fine. Just be a little more involved in the community. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Britz, Dorky, do you have a have you guys thought of an answer for this question? If you went back in time and had to give yourself some advice, what would it be for the tournament?
Yeah, I've got an answer. So I've got 3 things. One is the development time. So development had a massive hiccup in the middle of it because at one point I was working a full-time job and taking a CGMA course, and anybody who's taken a CGMA course can tell you those are kind of intense. And that was like an 8-week course, so that was taking forever. It took up all my free time. And the thing is, I convinced myself I'd be able to work on Chop and the CGMA course at the same time. That was a lie. I couldn't do it, and it kicked my butt. And that was probably the time. Dan talked about like a month of like not like doing anything or not really getting the ball rolling. That was likely during my CGMA.
That was
course.
the month.
Yep. And yeah, we wound up being like 2 months behind schedule, honestly. And I'm kicking my butt over that because a lot of the final references which were pushed out were very, very rushed. I mean, you remember that we didn't release all of our judges all at once. We did them one at a time, and that's because we were feverishly trying to finish references. Well, so Dan, you had yours done. Mine wasn't finished. Yeah, the round 1 environment wasn't finished, and I wound up doing Vaird's environment too. So, and that's the reason why that was staggered. So anyway, that's the first thing I would do. I tell myself, don't take the CGMA course. Take that some other semester when you have the time. The next thing I would tell myself is make it more friendly to spectators. I wish we had something which would invite or encourage more participation from spectators, because we wound up like most people when they dropped out didn't wind up like finishing a lot of their content or did anything spectator wise, which kind of bummed me out. I wish we were a lot more inviting to those people, and as well, and being a lot more inviting or have something to do for people who came in later and only just discovered Chop but too late.
Yeah.
And the last thing I would do, and I've mentioned this before, but I would have changed the format so there wasn't a prompt each round. Because I feel like it was too intense to get people to have to write in a dish creating process. They not only had to gather ingredients, but create a dish and introduce a judge. And I feel like, yeah, next time, don't do that. Make things pretty straightforward and give them a lot more freedom to choose what they want to do for their rounds. Because I felt like the prompts were not only like a lot more work, but they're also really restrictive.
Right. I can kind of see that. Like, I think I understand the thought process of why you wanted to kind of push for that, because it's a cooking competition. You've got to cook. But I can see that it did have its downsides. But yeah. So I can see that as to why you'd want to improve that. Dorky, do you have any idea on what advice you'd give yourself in the past about Chop?
It's kind of, my advice would have been to like first I'd hit myself on the shoulder and then tell them, please start talking a little bit more in the judge chat so that maybe we could have like because there was like moments where I'm just like, maybe we not do this, or maybe we should do this, and I was like, and I just kept it to myself because I didn't want to step on anybody's toes, and I'm just like, you gotta do
Step on toes.
Step on some toes. Oh yeah. Okay. That's really good. Thank you. Okay. I've now got to ask the inevitable question. Mr. Britzmark, Britzmark, Chop 3 when? Or chop or will there be a chop 3, first of all?
Yes, there will. It will.
Oh no! No, the chop police got him.
They killed him.
Oh no! Oh.
Paprika snapped his neck.
Paprika was like, "No, he cannot tell."
That's what it's going to be about.
Oh my god!
Chop 3 is gonna be a murder mystery.
Yeah.
Oh god!
There you have it.
Oh, you killed me.
There you go.
You killed me, man. Oh, that's wonderful.
And I'm really excited for the judges who are going to be.
Oh my god. You guys. Oh, please.
We can pay them enough, you know.
God damn it, man. Oh, Jesus. Okay, meme question aside, I guess this is similar to the previous questions I've asked, but I think it's important to ask these, particularly if you guys are, since you guys have had the experience of judging for the first time, of hosting for the first time, or, you know, judging for the second or third time or whatever. What advice would you give to people who are wanting to start running their own tournament, or, you know, start judging, or any of those kind of activities which are less about competing and more about providing the setting and the content that people, you know, build off?
I will gladly answer this question last.
All right.
Okay. You want to go, Dorky?
No.
Okay. So I guess I'll retread on some things. One is start early, like the video projects. If you're doing development for an OCT, development. If you do as much development as we did for Chop, you will start pretty early on. Don't be afraid to do iterations. Don't get married to an idea. Don't, because getting married to an idea can lead to a lot of fights. It's okay to be passionate about an idea and defend it and argue or debate about it, but don't die on a hill with against your judges, kind of thing. Be open, and that's for like developing an OCT. But one thing I would suggest, and I wish I did this, was judge before you host, because, or become an auxiliary judge, or get an in with like a judge lounge or something. Because there's a lot of things which I wasn't really familiar with of being a host until I actually became one. And I kind of wish I was a judge before hosting. Because being a host is actually a little more intimidating than you would think it is, because there's a lot of responsibility and sometimes drama does happen in the background. Luckily, we didn't have anything spill over in main chat, but there were a couple of things which happened off Discord, which was really upsetting for us, and I had to do a lot of digging and research to get the situation diffused. So that's something that might happen. Also, if be a level-headed person if you're a judge or a host. Don't be the kind of person to start drama. Otherwise, your OCT is going to have a bad time.
Completely understandable. Okay, thank you very much. Dorky, do you have anything?
It's what was the question again? Sorry.
Okay, so for anyone who's wanting to host or judge, what advice would you give? I guess you can do more about the judge stuff since this was your first time judging.
Yeah, this is my first time judging. I don't have anything too much for in terms of development, but what I will say is, when it's time to judge, like even after all the video stuff and everything's like taken care of that you need to take care of, do that judge work real quick.
gotta be
like
fast as heck.
once you're just don't even don't delay it, don't like procrastinate on it, just do it, get it done so that you can move on from it.
So our advice is just do it, make your dreams come true.
Just do it.
One thing I will comment about my judges is that all of them did their judging really fast. Like within most of the time, it was always under a week they did their judging, but I think like on average it was just a couple of days after we released the video for the next round. I tell my judges, hey, let's get the grading done, and like a couple of days later, everybody would be done. I'm so happy. I only ever had to remind them like once.
Wow.
Like they were amazing, because I've heard from previous OCTs and previous hosts and judges that sometimes judges really sit on their hands on it and don't do their judge responsibilities. So I'm glad all my judges were very responsible people.
Yeah.
With minimal punishment.
Yep.
Minimal positive reinforcement. No, I'm just joking. Britz.
I only had to kill one judge.
Yeah, that's why we only have 4 judges.
Yeah, you only got put in the judge cage once or twice so that you could forcefully do your judging. All right.
Exactly.
All right. So Dan, you said you wanted to be last. So what advice would you like to give?
So I would love to transition this into the talk about like, oh, here's like the step-by-step of what would be good. Is that point in time now, or do we have more questions after?
I think this is basically the end point. I've basically asked. I'm probably going to give some final words.
Okay.
And I want you guys to be able to do that. So before that, go on.
Yeah, before that, I think what Britz said actually, and I hadn't even remembered and considered, is that it's very important you learn how to handle problems. Let's say drama, whatever. You know, if you have a participant or even someone on the server who is causing issues and making other people uncomfortable, you need to be able to adultly handle that without making everyone uncomfortable. You know, whether that mean you privately talk to this person to see if you can resolve that behavior, or if you need to, you know, apply a appropriate punishment to a person, or even kick them out of a server. You have to learn to, one, be okay with that and like face the consequences of that choice if that happens. But also, you know, be as respectful as you can, given the circumstances as well. We didn't have anything that was too outlandishly crazy, but there were some upsetting moments in our OCT that we had to dole out a punishment as well. And that's also the benefit of having a judge panel as well, to sort of face these things, because when those issues came up, we all discussed them together as a collective. So it wasn't, you know, Britz just making the final call and taking care of a situation by himself. Usually it involved all of us, or it wasn't me, you know, going and talking to certain people without, you know, addressing everybody else as well and what their opinions are on the matter, because I may feel one way, Dorky might feel another, you know, and it's important that we all handle it a certain way. And I would also say it's like how they had said, it's okay to disagree with the judges, but it's like as a judge, it's okay to disagree with your fellow judges, but be open to communicate with that. And I think that is a skill that a lot of people may not take into consideration when they are going to formulate this. I've seen plenty of OCTs fall through because a judge panel can't stick together, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, friendships have been lost as a result of, like if I were to say some outlandish thing and then Britz doesn't want to be my friend anymore or whatever, like, it could happen, you know? And it's important that you are adults enough to communicate that and be respectful of other people's opinions on the matter, unless they're wacky, but usually it's okay. And being level-headed about it is as well as very smart.
Yeah.
I want to think if there's any other things that I would love to touch upon as a judge. I think this is what I had mentioned earlier. Just try not to fall behind and don't beat yourself over it. If you were to fall behind on what is expected as a judge, and be open to ask for help as soon as you think you need it, because I had, and that's how the round 4 script got to be what it was. The same goes for I wasn't able to complete as many matchup icons, and then Verd picked up some slack and stuff like that. It's very communication is the big thing.
Yeah. I think you're 100% right, because I can only speak as a competitor, but seeing and knowing that the judges are communicating in a healthy and mature way, where they're trying to tackle these things, I don't want to say objectively, but responsibly. They're trying to make the best decision for the entire group, and it's not trying to be mean or horrible or any of those things. It's just trying to communicate and treat the situation carefully. I think that's a really good point to pick up on. So is there any sort of last bit of advice that you want to give, Dan? Because I don't know if that was like the sort of final thing that you wanted to...
No, I want to do a whole fucking thing at the end, but for now, I think that's just anybody out there, if you want to do an OCT, make sure you're good at communicating.
All right. Okay, so before I ask you guys for your closing sort of statements or words or whatever, I just want to thank you, because everything about the tournament has been really, really fun. From beginning to end. I personally feel a little bit bad, because I made character reference sheets, I thought of some ideas for my audition, slacked off on it, and my audition was not very good. It was kind of crap. But I feel like I have enjoyed every step of the way seeing this tournament since the very beginning publicly, I suppose. And I'm also really thankful that you guys have all been so open for this interview, because a lot of this stuff tends to just kind of be swept under the rug, or sort of be seen as like a black box which no one can talk about. But seeing you guys be so open about it, I'm really grateful for it. Thank you very much for all of that. So,
of course.
So I guess at this point, my sort of question, well, it's not even a question, this is just kind of a, we're winding down, so is there any sort of final thoughts, final feelings, final words that you want to say about Chop, about your experience, or about any of those kind of things?
I'll miss it, and if I'm not asked to be a judge, I will hold it personally. But no, I'm just messing. It, like I said in the last when we had our award ceremony, this OCT has completely changed my opinion on and personal feelings on how I felt running an OCT, because of the community, because of the fellow judge panels, and the answering and delivering on all the promises that we had laid up for ourselves.
Yeah. Dorky, Britz, do you guys have anything to say?
So final thoughts on Chop. I'm definitely going to, like, once again, I am also going to miss it, and also that, it does 100% strengthen my love for OCTs. Like this entire thing was just such a ride to do and like be a part of, and like being surrounded by so many talented people. Like again, Britz, Verd, Dan over here, everybody here, and then on top of that, just having so many cool like contestants just like come up over here and just do their thing and make really cool comics and videos and musicals and games and all this stuff. It's just I don't know. It's just nice to be a part of, and like I've already said that it's over.
Aw. I think I know that this is a bit late, but I do think that you did a really good job as a judge, because I know that this has been your first time judging, and I don't know, I'm just really thankful for that.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking, but also, like, as much as I'm like, right now, I'm not too sure if I'm going to be judging anytime soon, I'm not opposed to judging again.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, finally, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Britzmark again. Britz, do you have any final thoughts? Because this was not only your first time being like a proper full-on judge, your first time hosting, you made a sequel to a tournament that you were massively passionate about. Is there any final thoughts or words that you're wanting to say?
Yeah, I mean, this whole interview has been basically about the judges, but I think I should share some love to the contestants, because we did wind up getting like 50 auditions, which was mind blowing. Like for all the OCTs I've participated in, like that is the highest I've ever seen a OCT get. The ones that I've been personally involved with, so that was it. That was crazy, and and we accepted like 36 of those, and we wound up with 15 at the end, which again is like one of the highest amount I've seen in a finishing round for non-elimination. So I was just completely elated to see how many people were there, and seeing all the talent was just mind-blowing. Like, not only did we have a lot of people, but a lot of really talented artists too, and it was multimodal too. So like you had people doing games, videos, musicals. Holy crap! Like, and I loved
whole
seeing people.
anime.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and I loved seeing people do music, especially because that, like, doing music, doing home brewed music for an OCT holds a special place in my heart, because that makes it unique to an OCT. And seeing people like not only like make remixes of my music, but like do their own stuff too, was just amazing. I loved seeing people just begin their musical journey that way, and it brought back memories. And I'm gonna miss you guys. And like the nostalgia hasn't hit yet, but I know in like 6 months I'm gonna like start really missing Chop. I'm gonna be like, oh man, Chop was the best time in my life. So I'm gonna really miss you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys later in the community.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm really appreciative towards everything everyone's been doing here, competitors and non-competitors. It's just been really fun, because I'd only skim read bits and pieces of Chop 1. So I don't know. I'm just really happy with just how everything's been turning out. Dan, did you have anything you wanted to mention? Because everyone else has kind of given their thoughts, and I remember, and yeah, I just wanted to see if you had anything that you wanted to add.
Oh, no, I was the first one to go.
Oh, whoops, my bad. I'm a goob, as you can see. Professional filmmaking 101. But yeah, it's been really great to have you all here. Thank you so much for spending multiple hours of your time waiting for me grabbing my pizza, waiting for all of that jazz, and then any technical difficulties I had. But yeah, it's been wonderful to learn more about the process, because I'm sure this is partly down to Britz's concept art background, but it really does feel like you guys put a lot of passion, a lot of love into these concepts. You didn't just want to have a singular first draft, you wanted to try and make this feel as big and as cool as possible. And I can't really overstate that, because there was the what was it? There was, you know, round 3. I really liked the music in round 3. I remember, I think it was Grayson or someone really pointed out a good point, which was, wait a minute, this was one of this was one of the previous tracks that Britz made, but remixed, and it was like such a cool feeling to feel that, because I think it was Atlantic's Blood Judge.
Yep.
And it was either Ocean Carter or the other one in the round 3 video. Then there was round 4, which just had this big booming music, and it was like, oh wow, this is the end of the line. You know, Big Mac's lined up all the contestants. It's really scary. And then of course there was the ending videos and the entire vibe of that final the award ceremony. I feel I'm kicking myself I didn't actually record that, but I was in places I couldn't do it, but it felt like an ending, because a lot of tournaments don't keep that momentum that they start with. You know, they get really hyped up in the auditions, then things kind of peter down, since, you know, less people are competing, less people are interested, or, you know, the judges get tired out. But you guys managed to keep that consistent level of quality, and if anything, I'd say you guys improved. And I still have a really nice place in my heart for all of the early stuff, though. Sorry, I had one last thing I wanted to mention. Yeah, the credits, really, really fun. I absolutely adore what you guys did. I'm just kind of gushing and rambling at this point, so feel free to stop me, but I just really loved what all of you guys did. I loved how there were like bits and pieces, like leitmotifs, I think that's what it's called, of the various different judges' themes, sort of all mixed together. You had all of the contestants walking past. You had panels, sort of from people's work going down, and then of course there was all of the NPCs and the Chop 1 people. It was just great. Britz, why have you posted that? I'm not on the chat. So... God.
Number 1.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I'm showing it for posterity. Mr. Britzmark, owner of Paprika, runner of Chop to the Top, has made a cock joke. Wow. Thank you, Britz. Very cool.
Number 1. Cock. Okay.
Oh, Jesus. But, oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna stop before Britz starts posting more silly jokes. Once again, massive thanks to all of you. Do you want to plug yourselves? That's something I haven't thought about. So, Dorky, you first. Where can we find you if we want to talk with you? Or I don't know, send you rat photos.
To send me photos, please don't send me rat photos. Actually, unless it's my character, I guess. But
unless it's your rat.
Unless it's my rat. But if you want to find me, I guess it's SpaceDorky on Twitter.com or my website SpaceDorky.com.
Hell yeah, very nice. Dan, do you have anything you would like to plug?
Yeah, I mean, I already doxed myself, so
I'm gonna edit that out in post. Don't worry. I'm just gonna put a giant sensor bar over your mouth.
So yeah, you can find me at MarcheTowersArt, MarcheTowersArt on Twitter and anywhere else, really. That's usually what I use. Feel free to reach out to me. See if I'm doing commissions, pay me to do art, so I could eat. And yeah.
Same, actually.
I send a message out. If you want to add me on Discord, you absolutely but you can just find me lurking. If you ping me, I will look.
Oh, very good. All right, finally, Britz, do you have anything that you wish to plug?
Yeah, I guess I have my Twitter. It's just it's just pretty much Britzmark on Twitter.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
not that hard to find. I could probably just throw it into the reintroductions channel when I get the chance. Also, like if you're in any OCT with ICSI, I'm not too far away.
Same actually.
Yeah, ICSI or Ixtake, I'm not entirely sure how you're meant to pronounce it, the full version, but yeah, ICSI has done a great amount of groundwork for non-elimination tournaments, so yeah, thank you all for being a part of this and being willing to answer these really silly questions of just how did you make your funny cooking tournament, and I'm just like rattling you and just being like, tell me everything.
Yeah, you know
so yeah,
so there needs to be a big old thank you to Geo too. That
Oh, for real.
Give it up.
like holy crap, Geo, you did a whole interview. Like what? Oh, how many OCTs get an interview? That's
don't
just
know.
amazing.
I just thought it would be cool.
Yeah, and I don't think we properly thanked you for like the plugin you did for Chop, on the OCT newscast. That was
Yeah.
really cool of you to do that, giving us shout outs, and I think
we
it
didn't
really
thank
helped
you.
us.
And I won't.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
And I just
thank
wanted to
you,
keep it
Dan.
that way.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, I still remember newscast I started about a year ago now. I think one of the first posts I made was before Chop actually had a Twitter, so I had to actually just download the second teaser where the tower was rising from the water. I just used a downloader bot to
stole our video?
No. I
Get him. Get him, boys.
Rattle him, boys.
Rattle him, boys.
But yeah,
Rattle.
We'll see you in court.
No. But yeah, I got the video, downloaded it, and then re-uploaded it saying, "Chop to the top's coming." But yeah, I that was one of the very first tournaments I remember advertising, and what a good tournament to start with. So yeah, I think with that I'm going to finish things up. So
Yay!
with that, see you all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Don't forget to your plug.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.